Everybody says Lovable turns a text prompt into a working app in minutes. I spent 5 charges trying to prove that wrong. Lovable says it turns a text prompt into a full web app with no code, and the real question is whether that promise holds once you try to actually ship something. Claim 1, Lovable is the fastest path to a live prototype, and that's the boldest thing on the tin. You type a prompt, and minutes later you've got a landing page or a dashboard running. The question is whether that speed holds once you push past the simple stuff and need real custom logic or mobile support. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. I looked at hands-on community reviews across multiple build types, and the pattern is pretty clear. For landing pages and MVPs, Lovable scores a 9 out of 10, which is legitimately fast and beginner-friendly. But the moment you need custom logic, that score drops to a 4, and for native mobile apps, it falls to a 2 out of 10. It gets you about 70% of the way there, then reliability falls off a cliff. This charge delivers, but only for the narrow job it's actually built for. Lovable is genuinely the fastest path to a working prototype, and for that specific use case, the score backs it up clean. So that's one of 5 claims holding up so far. I know that 70% cliff because I've watched it happen in real builds, spending serious time inside these tools so you don't have to find out the hard way. Drop a comment if you've hit that same wall. Claim 2, Lovable is affordable, starting at $20 a month. That number is right there on the pricing page. But the objection a lot of builders already have is that the plan price and what you actually spend are 2 very different things, because real usage, hosting, and back-end services stack up fast. And once you're deep in an intensive project, that $20 number stops meaning anything. The part that got me is how fast the gap opens up. Users report the $20 plan turns into $60 to $80 per month once you add hosting and back-end services, and intensive projects routinely hit over $1,000 in credits. Budget predictability scores a 3 out of 10 because credit consumption rates aren't clear, so you're basically watching a meter you can't read while you build. This charge falls short, and the cost lens makes it obvious. Real spend runs 2 to 3 times the advertised plan price, which changes the ROI calculation completely, and that's 2 now dismissed. Claim 3, Lovable handles iterative edits reliably. So picture this, you push a small CSS tweak on a Friday afternoon, and instead of one fix, you get a broken form, a navigation error, and a state management issue you didn't have before. That one prompt fix turns into a 3-session debugging exercise, and every session burns more credits, and the cycle gets worse as your project grows. I ran through the community evidence on this, and the fix, one break, another pattern, is confirmed across CSS conflicts, form errors, routing issues, and state management. Small changes score a 3 out of 10 for side effects, and debugging efficiency lands at a 2 out of 10. The part that really stings is that complexity scaling also scores a 2, meaning the cycle accelerates the bigger your project gets. This charge sticks hard, and the cost angle makes it worse because every debugging loop burns credits you already paid for. So that's 3 now dismissed. Okay, so 3 charges scored and 2 still left, and I'll just say this. One of them is the kind of thing that could stop you from shipping at all depending on what you're building, so security and non-tech usability are both still on the table. Claim 4, Lovable has built-in security scanning that protects your app on publish. That sounds reassuring, but 16 vulnerabilities in one incident leaked over 18,000 people's data, and if you're collecting user info, processing payments, or storing anything sensitive, a basic 10-second scan on publish gives you confidence you haven't actually earned. Watch what happens when you look past the marketing. The built-in scanner runs automatically and scores a 6 out of 10 on paper. But CVE 2025-48757 exposed over 170 apps because the scanner missed missing row-level security policies. Real-world vulnerability scores a 2 out of 10, and data protection also lands at a 2, so the scanners exist, but they don't replace an actual security review. This charge falls short, and it's the one that matters most if you're handling user data, because a real CVE with a real data leak isn't a theoretical risk, and that's 4 charges now scored with 3 dismissed. Claim 5. Lovable is genuinely usable for people with 0 coding experience. The pitch is that you describe what you want, and it builds the front-end, back-end database schema and auth automatically, which is a pretty bold claim. The real question is whether a non-technical person can actually get to a functional app, or if the context ceiling kicks in before they get there. I had to run this one twice because the beginner results are genuinely good. Non-technical users building simple apps score an 8 out of 10, and full stack generation, front-end plus back-end plus database plus auth, also scores an 8, but complex product scaling drops to a 3 out of 10. So the context ceiling is a real constraint that blocks you the moment your product gets more than a little complicated. This charge delivers because the beginner to working app pipeline is legitimately fast and the full stack generation is real. Not just a demo trick, so the final tally is 2 of 5. Claims hold up, 3 fall short, and both wins are about getting started fast. Alright, so where does Lovable actually earn it? Prototype speed is real. Landing pages and MVPs go live in minutes, not hours. Beginner friendliness is real. You don't need to write a line of code to get a functional web app. And full stack generation is real. It wires up the front end, back end, database schema, and auth automatically, which is genuinely impressive for a first pass. Now here's where Lovable falls short, and it's not subtle. Real project spend hits over $1,000 for intensive builds, which is nowhere near the $20 plan price. The fix one break another cycle gets worse as complexity grows. And CVE 2025-48757 exposed 170 plus apps and leaked 18,000 people's data, so the security story has a real hole in it. Worth it if you're validating an idea or building an internal dashboard fast. Skip it if you're trying to ship a production app with custom logic or real user data. 2 of 5 charges held up, and both of them are about speed at the start, not reliability at the end. One thing the marketing page doesn't mention, a top-tier builder reported spending over $1,000 and 1,000 hours inside Lovable, then got locked out of their project with no warning. I couldn't find a published hard cap on context, but once your project grows past a certain size, the model just stops being able to hold the whole thing in its head. If you're weighing whether to use an AI tool to build or just to code, the next one worth watching is Claude Sonnet 5. Should you use it? It's a different kind of tool with a very different answer to the reliability question, and the comparison might change how you think about both.